While the entire British royal family stood unified on the Buckingham Palace balcony, smiling for the cameras under the blinding glare of the London sun, two princesses were quietly slipping across international borders on a high-stakes covert mission. This wasn't a casual weekend getaway, it was a sudden flight into the shadows. For over 7 months, Sarah Ferguson has been living in total darkness, hiding out in a secluded alpine sanctuary following a series of shattering revelations that have completely upended her world. But while she thought she was completely isolated from the global media storm, a secret rendezvous changed everything. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie were suddenly tracked down deep inside Austria, sparking frantic rumors of a forbidden family intervention hidden from the public eye. What dark reality forced these sisters to flee British soil while the rest of the world was looking at the palace balcony? If you love unraveling the deepest mysteries behind the palace gates, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join our inner circle. We have so many more secrets to share, and you won't want to miss a single one. The absolute collapse of a royal life doesn't happen gradually. It hits all at once, like a physical blow. For over 7 straight months, one of the most recognizable figures in modern British history vanished completely from the face of the earth. No public appearances, no press releases, and absolutely no sightings on British soil. Sarah Ferguson didn't just step back from her duties. Reports suggest she went into total, deep isolation, effectively erased from public view. The sudden media blackout began the exact moment a mountain of unsealed legal documents was released across the Atlantic, sending shockwaves through the monarchy. Insiders say the timing was no coincidence. As the public demanded answers, the former royal reportedly scrambled to cut ties with everything she had built, even shutting down her own charitable trust within a matter of days. Rumors indicate she was laying a complex trail of false breadcrumbs, intentionally confusing tracking systems to keep her true location an absolute mystery. Neither the public nor high-ranking members of the family knew exactly where she had gone. She had successfully engineered the perfect vanishing act. But a person cannot stay hidden forever, especially when international authorities are watching. Reports suggest that as the weeks turned into months, intense pressure began mounting from overseas lawmakers demanding she break her silence under oath. The stress was becoming unbearable, forcing her to seek refuge in one of the most exclusive, secluded locations on Earth. She was spotted hiding out deep within the Austrian Alps, seeking shelter inside a high-end medical sanctuary that commands thousands of dollars a week for total privacy. While staying at this mountain retreat, sources claim she lived in a state of absolute confinement. She allegedly refused to step into the lobby, avoiding communal dining areas and ordering room service directly to her private suite. Whenever she absolutely had to move between properties, she relied on blacked-out luxury vehicles, pulling a white baseball cap low over her face to evade international photographers. It was a life lived completely on the run, funded, as some experts claim, entirely on high-limit credit cards and a desperate hope that the storm would pass. Yet, even inside a fortified alpine hideaway, the walls were rapidly closing in. It is claimed that a sudden security breach forced her to abruptly abandon the luxury spa and flee into the snowy night, relying on a secret network of international contacts to keep her one step ahead of the media. She was completely isolated, cut off from her old life and running out of places to turn. But just when it seemed like she was entirely alone in her exile, a highly unexpected international flight was booked from London. And what happened next would shock everyone. Tracking down a runaway royal who is actively evading international scrutiny requires absolute secrecy, precision timing, and a level of loyalty that defies the monarchy itself. Rumors indicate that this is exactly what unfolded when Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie made a highly unexpected, quiet departure from British soil. They weren't tracking down a casual acquaintance. Sources claim the sisters were on a critical mission to locate their mother, Sarah Ferguson, who was deeply embedded in her self-imposed alpine exile. The public footprint of their journey was practically non-existent, leaving royal analysts scrambling to figure out how two of the most recognizable women in Britain vanished without a trace. The scale of the operation was staggering. It is believed the sisters completely bypassed standard royal travel protocols, intentionally avoiding commercial hubs where photographers routinely wait. According to sources, they utilized private regional airstrips, moving in under the radar while global attention was entirely elsewhere. For months, the public had been told that children are not responsible for the alleged indiscretions of their parents. Yet, this sudden, unannounced crossing of international borders suggested that the family bonds were far tighter and far more complicated than the public was being led to believe. But finding someone who doesn't want to be found is only half the battle. Insiders say that when the princesses finally located the secluded property in Austria, the atmosphere was incredibly tense. The former royal had allegedly been completely cut off from her normal support network, struggling under the immense weight of escalating global pressures and a shattered reputation. It is claimed that Beatrice and Eugenie did not travel all that way just for a comforting reunion. Rumors indicate they were carrying an urgent high-stakes message directly from the heart of the family network in London, one that could decide whether their mother could ever return to the UK. As details of this quiet encounter began to surface, royal commentators raised major questions about the timing. Why now? Why choose this exact moment to risk a massive public backlash by associating with someone actively lying low from international authorities? Some believe a major security development behind the scenes forced their hand, making the journey an absolute necessity. The sisters were suddenly caught in a delicate balancing act, trying to protect their fragile status within the monarchy while refusing to abandon their mother in her darkest hour. To pull off a high-stakes rendezvous like this without causing an immediate international media circus, they needed the ultimate distraction. They needed a massive global event that would guarantee every camera on Earth was pointing in the exact opposite direction. And as it turns out, the perfect cover story was already perfectly scheduled on the royal calendar. What happened next would leave the public completely stunned. The most sophisticated international operations always rely on one golden rule. If you want to pull off a massive disappearing act, you do it when the entire world is watching a spectacular distraction. On Saturday, June 13th, the global media was completely locked onto London for King Charles's official birthday celebration, the legendary Trooping the Colour. Over 1,400 soldiers marched in flawless unison, military bands filled the streets with music, and millions of eyes were glued to the Buckingham Palace balcony. It was a masterclass in royal pageantry designed to showcase absolute unity, stability, and control to the public. But according to sources, while the cameras were flashing in London, the real story was unfolding hundreds of miles away in absolute silence. The precision timing of this movement was nothing short of brilliant. Insiders say that Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie knew that every single royal photographer, journalist, and investigator on Earth would be hyper-focused on the main working royals in the British capital. It provided the ultimate window of opportunity. Reports suggest the sisters used this massive media blackout as a calculated cover story, slipping out of the country entirely unnoticed while the public assumed they were simply maintaining a lower profile at home. By the time anyone realized they were missing from the official guest lists, they were already crossing international borders. But to pull off a covert escape during the most heavily policed weekend of the year, they needed a flawless alibi. Rumors indicate they found the perfect excuse by booking attendance at a high-society Schwarzenberg family wedding held at St. Charles Church in the Austrian capital of Vienna. On paper, it looked like a standard elite social gathering. But according to sources, this majestic church was merely a staging ground. The true destination was far more secluded, hidden deep within the mountain fresh air of the Austrian Alps where their mother was waiting. The psychological stakes of this move cannot be understated. While the rest of the family projected an image of flawless luxury and unbroken tradition on the palace balcony, Beatrice and Eugenie were navigating a deeply fractured reality. It is claimed that the contrast between the sunny celebration in London and the tense, quiet atmosphere in that distant ski resort was staggering. The sisters were risking their own public standing, completely aware that if the media caught wind of their true destination, it would spark an immediate global frenzy. They had successfully navigated the global distraction and reached their destination, but the fallout from their calculated disappearance was already radiating in directions they never anticipated. Because back home, their decision to slip away had just triggered a massive wave of anger within their own inner circle. and the deep family snub that was about to be exposed would push their relations to a total breaking point. True loyalty is put to the ultimate test when you are forced to choose between supporting your closest blood relative or maintaining your own public survival. In the middle of this high-stakes international vanishing act, a massive fracture ripped through the very heart of the family inner circle. While the public was hyper-focused on the secret meetings in the Austrian Alps, a quiet but devastating betrayal was unfolding right on British soil. Sarah Ferguson completely stunned her closest friends and relatives by entirely skipping the highly anticipated wedding of her own niece, Heidi Ludecker. This wasn't just any distant relative. Reports suggest Heidi was considered Sarah's golden niece, someone she had publicly declared absolute devotion to. The sting of this total absence felt intensely personal to everyone involved. The ceremony was held at All Saints Church in Duma, located right next to the historic childhood farm where the former royal actually grew up. It was supposed to be a joyous homecoming, a moment where she would be surrounded by unconditional love and protected from the harsh glare of global scrutiny. Insiders say there was absolutely no logical reason for her to stay away, and that she could have easily kept a very low profile. Yet her seat remained completely empty, sending a chilling message to a family that had supported her through thick and thin. When the dust finally settles on this unprecedented chapter of royal history, we are left looking at a family completely running out of safe havens. What began as a luxury wellness escape into the crisp air of the Austrian Alps has rapidly transformed into a bleak, permanent exile. Sarah Ferguson's frantic flight from property to property, pulling baseball caps low over her face, isn't just about avoiding international paparazzi anymore. It is the visual proof of a royal life that has officially run out of chances. Cut off from her charitable networks, stripped of her historic titles, and financially backed into a corner, she is facing a harsh reality that no amount of public relations maneuvering can fix. The true, hidden tragedy of this entire downfall, however, doesn't belong to the past generation. It belongs to the future. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are left holding the pieces of a ruined legacy, caught in a devastating psychological trap. They are forced to navigate the joyous arrival of new life and their own young families while watching their parents completely unravel under the weight of escalating international scrutiny. By refusing to let their mother move into their private residences, the sisters have drawn a definitive, brutal line in the sand. It is a desperate act of self-preservation, proving that in the modern world, the consequences of a parent's choices can become too heavy for even a princess to carry. The alpine sanctuary has faded away, leaving behind a family deeply fractured and an ancient monarchy permanently changed. But the palace walls hide so many more secrets, and the global net is tightening faster by the day. What do you think? Are the York sisters right to distance themselves to save their own children's future, or has the monarchy gone too far in freezing them out? Drop your thoughts in the comments section down below. I read every single one of them, and if you want to stay exactly one step ahead of the biggest royal scandals before they hit the mainstream news, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Join our inner circle, turn on those notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video.